Welcome back to Beyond the Spot, decolonizing healing one brain at a time. I am your host, Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, licensed professional counselor, healer, and the first Black female brain spotting trainer in the world. This week's episode, The Soft Life Era, a collective reclamation toward liberation. Today's episode speaks to the healers, helpers, and women who have carried the weight of strength far too long. We are talking about the soft life, but not the version sold on social media. That's a far cry. That's very topical. Okay. This is actually about the nervous system's quiet longing for safety, rest, and liberation. Because softness is not laziness, it's a reclamation. And dare I say, long overdue reflective invitation as we begin to organize around this idea of the soft life era. What if your desire for peace isn't indulgent? It's ancestral. What if your softness is your nervous system remembering freedom? Oh, I'm excited for this one. And thank you for being here. Beyond the Spot, Decolonizing Healing One Brain at a Time, is a podcast that weaves, my first love, of course, brain spotting, and somatic informed modalities with embodied healing, cultural consciousness, and real talk about trauma, resilience, and recovery. Hosted by Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, a licensed professional counselor, spiritual healer, and the first Black female brain spotting trainer in the world. Each episode dares to dismantle mental health myths, uplift lived experiences, and restore collective wisdom. One conversation at a time. Beyond the Spot podcast is for educational purposes and is not therapy. Please reach out to licensed medical and mental health professionals. Thank you. Let's start right here. Excuse me. Redefining the soft life. The soft life has become a hashtag, a marketing slogan, a curated aesthetic. But beneath the trend is truth, especially for women and particularly for Black and brown women. Softness is the nervous system's way of saying, I don't want to live in survival anymore. It's the longing to move out of chronic vigilance and into embodied safety. Now, I'm not saying that that is exclusive to Black and brown women, but what I will say, you've heard it, right? And it is historical. It is often said that the Black woman is the most disrespected and least protected individual in America. And right behind the Black women are these stereotypes and tropes of the spicy Latina. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And historically and ancestrally, Black and brown women have been conditioned to equate strength with worth, productivity with identity and exhaustion with excellence. Let's not talk about this idea of achievement as identity. But the nervous system was never meant to live on adrenaline. It was designed for rhythm, resonance, and rest. And rest is not a sin. In fact, the word rest has been weaponized against communities of color. And just a reflective invitation here. When was the last time your body felt unguarded, where it was not bracing? And what does softness feel like in your chest, your jaw, your breath? Yeah, I want to invite you to notice that because when you're able to notice that, that at least gives you a baseline of what it feels like to be present in your body with a rest posturing towards softness. And let's even talk about the cultural cost of strength. Strength has been both our survival and our sorrow. For generations, Black, Indigenous, and Brown women have been expected to carry families, communities, and causes with endurance and grace, even when they don't benefit us, even when they have nothing to do with us. Let's be clear, America has been raised on chocolate milk. We were taught to hold it all, to show up, to be strong, to never fall apart. But strength without softness becomes a cage. And survival without safety becomes a form of complex, ongoing, quiet grief. The soft life isn't about luxury, it's actually about liberation. It's about reclaiming the right to exhale. And I want to, excuse me, push this narrative to retreat, to step away, doesn't necessarily mean you need to get on an airplane to go anywhere. I want to invite you all to start reimagining what rest looks like, what this idea of exhaling can be. Because in order for it to be something engaged on a regular basis, it has to be something that becomes a regular actionary part of your routine. I don't want anyone to think that you have to go somewhere beyond in order to achieve or attain, excuse me, achieve or attain this experience. With that, what would it mean to be strong enough to be soft? Yeah, consider that. What would it mean to be strong enough to be soft? I want us to take a turn with the historical context when we talk about rest as resistance. The longing for rest doesn't begin on Instagram. It began in the body generations ago. Our ancestors understood that. Enslaved women who never had a moment to themselves dreamed of rest as freedom. Domestic and caregiving laborers built worlds they could never fully rest in. Generations of healers, teachers, and helpers gave more than they were ever allowed to receive. This is historical stuff here. When we talk about soft life, we're talking about repairing the nervous system of history. Rest is not rebellion, It's remembrance. It's the body reclaiming rhythm after centuries of running, centuries of erasure, centuries of objectification, centuries of historical abuse. Whose rest were you taught to sacrifice? And what would liberation feel like in your nervous system? And that's not a trick inquiry, y'all. These reflective invitations that I am offering, I am aware that it's going to take a moment of adjustment and adaptation for you to even wrap around the inquiries I'm making for women and especially for women of color. Yeah, for real. Whose rest were you taught to sacrifice? And what would liberation feel like in your nervous system? That's a real inquiry. And perhaps the response to those inquiries are not top of mind. Why? Because they're just not the mindset that we're accustomed to as women and or women of color. How about the healer who is hurting? Let's speak truth to the helpers, right? Because at the end of the day, there are roles. All of us have roles, right? Empathy without boundaries becomes depletion. Service without restoration becomes servitude. The healer's exhaustion is not failure, it's feedback. Listen. Listen to that feedback. Your body is whispering. You cannot hold the world and your breath at the same time. Healing others is sacred work, but not if it costs you your own nervous system. Just a reflective invitation here. What would sustainable compassion look like for you? Sit with that. Yeah, because part of this journey has to do with the somatic reclamation. Softness is safety. Softness is somatic. It's the nervous system shifting from fight or flight into flow and connection. It's the exhale after centuries of bracing. Softness is absolutely not weakness. It's the body's highest expression of safety. When the nervous system feels secure, the body opens, the mind expands, and the spirit settles. It can rest. Can you let softness become your new strength? And what would that look like for you? This idea of softness becoming your new strength. This is a season for collective reclamation toward liberation, y'all. The soft life isn't a solo journey. It's a collective reclamation. It's a generation of women saying, we deserve ease, we deserve presence, we deserve to heal. And I got to tell you, that's what my retreats and even the brain spotting intensive I did this year, that's really the echo and the embodiment that I have been experiencing. This movement isn't about escaping responsibility. It's about refusing to perform resilience as identity. Uh-huh. It's the collective nervous system finally asking, can we stop surviving long enough to feel free? Softness is liberation made visible. What if softness isn't the end of strength, but it's evolution? How about that? Softness is sacred, and your nervous system has been waiting for you to remember that. This is a part of retrieval and reclamation. It's not uncommon for us to say something and then allow it to resonate with us as we lean into that thing. You don't have to earn peace through exhaustion. You don't have to prove worth through pain. Softness is not surrender, it's sovereignty. What does liberation feel like in your body? I'm curious. You should be too. Where can you practice rest as resistance? Who in your lineage longed for this softness? And how might you honor them by claiming it? Because healing at the speed of safety is how we reclaim the soft life, not as a trend, but as truth. And not just for ourselves, but also for those who have come before us. Thank you for spending this time with me. It is absolutely my pleasure. I am excited about this idea around the soft life internally from a neurobiological perspective, having to do with your nervous system and what that looks like, to just give the invitation to begin to consider that. I am Tracy Gantlin-Monroy. And I just got to tell you, this podcast has become one of my absolute favorite things in how I spend my time. Until we meet again, my friend, I'm excited. Let's see what happens. Thank you. If today's episode resonated with your nervous system or your spirit, share it with someone who's still unlearning and reach out to me. My website is gracecommunitycounseling.com. You can reach me on Instagram at Monroy LPC. That is MONROY LPC. Also, I have offerings from retreats to brain spotting trainings to workshops, you name it. And I am also a speaker. So if you ever need a speaker with my skill set, look me up. Give me a call. Let's see what can happen. And absolutely for you clinicians and adjacent body healers, feel free to reach out and attend a brain spotting training. We have trainings all the time. Thank you.